Welcome back to Wednesday night OWCP chats with Chris and Gini.
Tonight we got a good topic for you, one that we've been getting a lot of questions about, and so I did my homework. Most weeks I don't really need to because it's just kind of burned up here, but I wanted to make sure that I had all the best information for you tonight, and so tonight I'm going to talk to you about second opinion visits, the rules of those things, what your rights and responsibilities are, and where the laws come from. So this is going to be great, and then at the end, probably by tomorrow, Genie will upload this document that I've made for you, which is the CCOP guide and checklist for injured federal employees. So it's everything you need to know and do if you have to go to a second opinion doctor visit.
Yes. And
Yes.
okay, so I think for this year already, I think this is the topic of the year so far. With so many of you
Topic of the
asking,
year.
yeah, this is topic of the year. Forget about chats. It's a topic of the year.
Topic of the year.
So everybody's concerned about second opinions because maybe like 90% of you wind up going to a second opinion doctor, which is crazy. But I'll have Chris do some housekeeping. I still have to share, and we need you to share because this topic is so important again because most of you have to go to second opinions. And if you are tagging your friends on here, the reason they're not seeing it is because you need to do the at sign and then tag their and then put their name in. So at sign, and it has to be blue when you post it. So when it comes up blue, that means that they're going to see it. Don't forget to, if you don't follow the page, you won't see our notifications. And a lot of you come on here. We always say this. You come on here and you message us, and then you'll ask, well, where do we go see the live chats? Right here. If you made it to this Wednesday
Where do we go
night
to find
chats,
you?
if you made it to the Wednesday night chats page, you just have to click follow. That's the only way you will see when our posts go out, our topics go out. But for some reason, this topic is like major. So while Chris does some housekeeping and I'm going to share after that, I'm when I posted the chats on Monday, what we were going to talk about, I'm going to read those questions because if it, just in case those of you that asked the question don't get on the chat, you'll hear it, and I will say the name, and I'll make sure that I do at followers, at top followers. That way you can get to see it, and I will also include that in that chats topic that I did. So Chris is going to talk about what we're doing in the next 2 weeks while I share, and you do the same.
Yeah, this is going to be a fun next few weeks, actually. We'll be in Fort Myers with the Florida APWU, talking all things workers' comp. I don't believe I'm teaching a class at this one. AJ's just going to let me take a little break and hang out with the fellas. So that's going to be fun. So, guys, get ready.
We are
I'm
going to go
excited.
live
Oh, yeah.
Wednesday night.
Yeah, we're going to do Wednesday night chats from there. From the APW convention, but that's going to be a lot of fun. We love hanging out with Florida APW. We've had some of our best friends are there, and never a dull moment.
Nope.
With the guys from Central Florida, never a dull moment. And then the next week after that, we're going to be in DC with the Federal Law Enforcement Officers Association. They're doing a big rally, like a multi rally, right? Like multiple different places. And so we're going to hang out with them. These are newer friends of ours, and we're going to get to go and get to know them and their leadership. But we're really excited to be able to connect with the Federal Law Enforcement Officers Association, another group of folks that are just fighting for the rights of their members, just like all the rest of you. So if you are a FLEOA member and you're here watching, you're in the right place. You're going to learn something new tonight. After that, we will be doing some fun stuff. We're going to Rockfest in Daytona.
Yes.
Yeah, so we do.
It's a 4-day. It's a 4-day event.
We do some fun stuff too. But after we spend, a week and a half doing workers' comp stuff and hanging out with you folks, we're going to go do this. So it's like fun, and then more fun. I'm looking over here at a camera, or not a camera, a calendar. They both start with C. Whatever. A calendar. If you want to know why I'm looking over there. But those are the upcoming events. I want to talk to you, though, about what's going on with you and as a federal employee right now. I like to start with this, especially right now. There is a lot of rumor that you're going to lose your job if you report an injury. There's fear of retaliation if you report an injury. And I got to tell you, I've written 4 books about this, but I cannot get it across to you in strong enough terms that that's against the law. They're not allowed to retaliate against you or fire you or even threaten to fire you if you have a work injury. OSHA says you have a right to report a work injury and that it's a crime to get in the way of your right to exercise your rights. So don't forget that you have the right to do these things. And as always, I'll tell you, it's not even a disclaimer. It's just the way Chris thinks. I don't want you to get hurt. I'm not anxious for you to file a work injury claim, but I speak all the time on timeframes. And your biggest time frame right now is if you wait until after you are not part of the federal workforce to report your injury, the odds are your claim is going to get denied and you'll lose all of your federal benefits for the rest of your life. So if someone has a legitimate work injury and you are hesitant to file that injury or report it, just know that waiting is costing you benefits and it may cost you your ability to ever report at all.
Yeah.
So again, I'm not suggesting that you just all run out and go file a work injury claim. I'm saying if you have a legit injury, don't ignore it. Don't rub some dirt on it. Don't just hope for the best. Instead, report your injury and at least give yourself a chance to get help in the future. And besides, if you do get separated from your job, and I pray you don't, how are you going to do the next job if physically you can't do this job?
Right.
So you got to get yourself physically in the position to do something anyways. So don't ignore your legitimate work injury conditions.
And that goes for those of you that maybe want to retire or at retirement, what's the word I'm looking? If you're going to be retiring this year.
Yeah.
File it before you retire or else you don't get to do that.
Yeah, we've been asked all the time, what if I just wait till after retirement? Well, the chances are they're just going to claim that you got hurt after retirement, right? Or you were never really hurt because you didn't say anything.
Yes.
It's an uphill battle that's not worth it. So do it while you're still connected with your federal job.
All right. So you'll see through the comments, some of our offices are on here. They're just letting you know they are there to help. The different offices we have almost 70 locations. So you'll see some of the offices on here saying, federal injury centers of whatever with their phone number and how to get in contact with them. So feel free if there's any of the offices that are close to you, you're interested in going, which you don't have to go to, please feel free to reach out to them. You can reach out to them through Messenger, or you can just go ahead and call the office tomorrow morning.
That was a good point. What do you mean we don't have to go to an office? What offices are you talking about? Well, if you're new here, again, we're Chris and Gini. This is Wednesday night OWCP chats with us. But we got started because we have a franchise called Federal Injury Centers.
Yep.
Actually, Wednesday night chat started first. But what we found out is that there was such high demand and need for doctors because there are no doctors hardly in any state that want to help you, that we should help.
Yeah.
And so as a result of the feedback we got from you at this channel, Wednesday night OWCP chats, we created Federal Injury Centers, which is a national federal franchise that employs doctors, medical doctors, chiropractors, physical therapists, nurse practitioners, PAs, massage therapists, whatever else you need for a musculoskeletal injury. That's what Federal Injury Centers does. We have nearly 70 offices in almost 30 states, and you can check those out. You're going to now come to me, many of you, and say, well, do you have an office here? Or when will you have an office there? Or can I go to your office here? Or how do I get connected with this office over here? If you just go to federalinjurycenters.com and check the locations tab, you can see for yourself. If there's not a location there, it doesn't exist.
Right.
So yeah, that's what we have. And it's not that we're not going to grow. We're always growing. But we have what we have, and our barrier to having new offices is having new doctors say yes to us. It's not that we don't want to be there, it's that we can't get doctors to say yes. And don't you know the feeling? Because if you're in Nebraska or Iowa or Idaho or South Dakota, North Dakota, Montana, good luck finding an OWCP doctor. Okay. So imagine how it feels for us trying to recruit the same people that don't want to even help you, and you could pay them to help you. So anyways, that's what we do. We have Federal Injury Centers. You can check us out there. And some of our franchise doctors are here listening, learning, and getting to know you. So feel free to interact with them.
We see we have some new folks on here. Welcome. All right, let's see. We have Diana. Good evening. Frank is back.
Frank.
We have Jerry Park Harrington. Hello from Freedom, Indiana. Hello. Bonnie. Hello. Let's see. All right. So like Chris said, we said at the very beginning, we're going to be going over all things second opinion, why, how, where, when, all of that. But before we do that, when I posted the topic on Monday night, a lot of you started asking a lot of questions. So I'm going to start off with that. And if you have any questions about second opinion, wait for Chris to finish going over the sections, and then we're going to start answering. This may go over because we know that this is a huge topic. So just bear with us. Let's see. Sonia says these are questions from Monday night that you guys posted. Some of you posted. Why am I going to a third second opinion in 1 month?
Oh, let me answer that right now because they have the right to do so. The law allows them at any time for almost any reason. I've got a list of reasons that are most common, but because they can, I'm going to get into all the reasons they do this. But you can't say no. You have to go, or they'll cut off your benefits.
Yeah.
3 is not uncommon.
And some of these are going to be like when you hear what the people are saying are complete ridiculous, but this is what actually happens. Christy Payne, Mark's lovely claims examiner sent us to for a second opinion after he had already got his claim approved. What the heck?
It happens all the time. It's probably going to happen even more in the future.
Julie Woods, I went to a second opinion and got a letter afterwards saying I didn't hurt my shoulder when I did. What a joke. I beg to differ. The hospital said I did.
Yeah. Hey, it's going to come down to, and as you'll see when I read through the documents that I've got, it's going to come down to the weight of the medical evidence. Whose medical report was better, your doctor's or their doctor's?
So this one, I responded, that's disgusting for him to say. So here's what she said. Melanie, I went to a second opinion doctor before. He was pretty much sexist and insinuated that a little 5'1" girl like me shouldn't be working in corrections. That's very disrespectful.
Okay, I can just tell you this.
I'd be scared.
You could put that guy in some sort of an arm bar or whatever, and he'd probably change his mind.
Yeah. But what's your name? Melanie. I'm sure the training you guys get, and we know, we've seen it. It's scary.
I don't want to fight with you.
Yeah. Wendy Gorman, twice a month and a half, he asked me if I just planned to go out to OT until I retire. I still have 7 years until my MRA, same doctor both times, and on Saturday both times as well, which is my day off.
I mean, you don't plan to do it. You're doing what you're medically able to do based on your doctor's orders. And so hopefully you're following your doctor's orders and that's working out for you. But second opinion doctors can say some pretty crappy things.
Yeah. Adrian Freeman.
They don't always. Okay. I'm thinking of one in New Jersey that I can't wait to meet and shake his hand.
Yeah, we have to go there.
So there are some that are like heroes. All right. But others are not.
I think that's what we're going to do. We're planning on going to Jersey sometime in September. And I think I'm going to reach out and find that doctor and literally shake his hand and say thank you for what he did to somebody that we know.
A specialist at Rutgers.
Yeah.
I can't wait to meet him. So they're not all bad. I'm not saying that, but I've heard some bad stories.
Adrian Freeman. I recently went to a second opinion appointment. My mom drove me an hour and a half there, and the appointment lasted 5 minutes. He didn't touch me nor look at any of the doctor's notes that they suggested I bring with me. So this is a question I know a ton of you are going to ask. Why do they just look at me, don't touch me? Because every time we talk about second opinions, this is one question that comes up. They only see me for 5 minutes. They didn't look at my notes. They didn't even touch me. So we're going to go into that and what you should do with
that. But the shorter answer is because nobody does anything about it. And I'm going to tell you what you can do about it. The other part of the answer, if I want to lengthen it, is because oftentimes they're just answering specific questions asked by the claims examiner, and they're not giving your full medical record either.
Yeah.
And they get paid the same amount for the visit, whether they spend 5 minutes or an hour.
Yeah.
So what do you think they're going to do?
William Lyle, need advice. Fusion done. Surgeon and work comp doc both say done for good. Who should I use for the impairment rating?
Whoever's best at it. I don't know.
Yeah,
either medical doctor is okay. You can use either one. There's no harm either way, unless one of them's no good at it.
Yeah.
So use the one that's better at it. That's done the most and had the best outcomes.
Yeah. Diane Cardona, they sent me to a second opinion and my claim finally got approved. I've been struggling with a herniated disc and facing a fusion.
But your claim got approved after the second opinion. If that's what it sounds like, see, that's a good outcome, and we appreciate that.
There's good and bad about second opinion,
Yeah.
and Chris is going to go over all of that. So I know you guys are like machine gunning questions here, so be patient. We're going to make sure we get to all of them because we know this is important. Yu said, and why do the second opinions lie? Because they get 700 to lie.
I mean, I can't speak to that. I would
Right,
never.
we don't know.
I would like to think that a medical doctor would not lie for $700, because they're going to get paid the 700 just because you showed up. They don't get paid because of the outcome. They get paid because of the visit. I think that's important to know. It doesn't mean there's not some bad apples out there.
Rob Little said, this happened to me. The doctor talked to me less than 5 minutes, did an x-ray, and said there was nothing wrong with me, completely negating the doctor I had been seeing for over 5 years that did my surgery. Was ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you what to do about it tonight.
Christine Richards, cool. I need this, and I need this right now. Fighting a second opinions doctor. So, Christine, I hope you're on here.
Take good notes.
Yeah, while you guys are listening to these questions I'm reading before we get to the live questions, make sure you have a pen and paper because Chris is going to be reading some, what are they called?
Rules, laws, and
CRF.
regulations.
Yeah. Susan Schneider, I went to a third opinion. He said I'd be paralyzed without surgery.
That sounds like an awful outcome minus surgery.
Stephanie Gossett, I'm going to a second opinion for the second time. What does that mean? My advocate stated I should not be going again, at least till I'm done with my pain management.
Nope, you should be going. It's not should, but you have to go anytime they send you there. Regardless of what your advocate said, the rules are pretty clear.
All right, last question from Monday. Marie Knowles went to a second opinion last week, got a letter stating he's saying I can't work and his report is enclosed. No report. Had an EMG on Thursday, lots of damage. What happens now? All right.
So let me start with this. I wasn't going to start here, but it came up so many times. I'm going to read this rule so that everyone understands. Like, I've gone to 2, I've gone to 3. My advocate said this and why and all that. Let me tell you why. The United States Code, 5 USC 8123, letter A. 5 USC.
Write this down, guys.
5 USC 8123A. An employee shall, everyone knows what shall means, it means absolute, shall submit to examination by a medical officer of the United States or by a duly qualified physician designated or approved by the Secretary of Labor after the injury and as frequently and at such times and places as may be reasonably required. So you define reasonably required, and we can get better on this rule. But it says you have to go whenever they tell you to and however often they tell you to. That's the law. And if the employee refuses to submit to or obstructs an examination, his right to compensation under this subchapter is suspended until the refusal or obstruction stops. So in other words, they can tell you when to go and how often. And if you don't go or you obstruct it, they can just cut off your benefits. So they're saying you just got to do it. And that's what I'm saying. Why am I going 2 times or 3 times? Because they're saying that's as many as may be reasonably required. Now, what's reasonable to you and me may be different than what's reasonable to them.
Yeah.
But they determine reasonable, not we.
Like on an everyday, like Chris and I, not being a federal employee, I'd like a second opinion if I'm going for surgery, but that's because I'm getting surgery. Yeah. I want a second opinion. You guys are sometimes going when DOL sends you guys for just random reasons that Chris is going to go over, but it does suck. But you, like he said, you should go.
Yeah.
All right, let's get started.
Well, we are. So as long as I'm reading law, I'll go ahead and just read them because there's only 4 more to go and they're not that long. So that was 5 USC 8123A. It says they can send you whenever they want you to go, as many times as they want you to go, because they determine what reasonable means, and you just got to do it or they'll cut off your benefits. The letter D of that same law, 5 USC 8123, letter D says, if an individual refuses to submit to or obstructs an examination, his right to compensation under this subchapter is suspended until the refusal or obstruction stops. Compensation is not payable while the refusal or obstruction continues. So they just reiterated the last sentence of letter A. They're making it very clear. Oh, don't forget, you actually have to do this. So that's that. And then CFR stands for the Code of Federal Regulations. 20 CFR 10.320 letter A says OWCP sometimes needs a medical exam to determine the employee's eligibility for benefits under FICA. That's the law. The employee must submit to such exam by a qualified physician as often and at such time and places as OWCP considers reasonably necessary. The employee may have this is letter B, may have a physician or other individual present at the exam. You can take a witness. However, any such individual, the witness, must be arranged and paid for by you. So you got to set it all up. If their travel and all that, OWCP is not going to take care of it. But you can bring a friend as a witness. But if they obstruct the visit will be canceled. Your benefits will be stopped too. So they need to sit there quietly. And I got some things on what your witness can do to help you in your visit.
Yeah.
Imagine you're the person who spent 5 minutes after driving 2 hours and the doctor didn't look up at you and never touched you. What if you had a witness in there that would also swear that happened?
Yeah, like the question I just read, she drove an hour and a half to get to her second opinion, and he took literally 5 minutes. This is what he's talking about.
Yeah. So, and don't forget also that Code of Federal Regulation also said if you don't go, they'll cut off your benefits. So that's 3. All right. We're 3 for 3 on law, reminding you do have to do it. They're really serious about this.
Oh, and those of you, what Chris is reading, this little PowerPoint that he created, if you missed it from the beginning, I will be uploading this either tonight or tomorrow morning. So you'll be able to see everything that he's talking about.
Yeah. It'll be as a PDF.
Yeah.
As we upload it, not a PowerPoint.
That's what I meant.
No. I'm saying they have to be able to open a PDF
Yeah,
on their
that's right.
computers. And almost all phones will now. All right, here's the next one. And there's only 2 more. 20 CFR 10.321. 20 CFR 10.321. Let me know if you're getting the point they're trying to lay down here. OWCP will provide the employee with written notice when scheduling a medical exam. If the employee refuses to attend or obstructs the exam without good cause, benefits may be suspended until the refusal or obstruction ceases. So there they added without good cause, meaning let's say that you have COVID, then they'll let you reschedule. You'll probably have to prove it, but there are instances where they'll let you reschedule
Right.
second opinion exam. But there is no instance where you're allowed to refuse to attend it. They'll just reschedule it if you have a good reason, and then you'll have to go to that one. And then finally, in the OWCP procedure manual, or the DFEC procedure manual, Chapter 2, Section 0810. The procedure manual guides claims examiners on the development and evaluation of medical evidence. It requires that second opinion referrals be made through the medical management application, and that referrals to referee physicians be used when a conflict exists between medical opinions. Referee physicians should be board certified in their specialty when possible. So those are the 4 laws and the 1 entry in the procedure manual that apply to this. So you just need to understand that basically what it's saying to you is you have to go. They can send you whenever they want and as often as they want to. It's with whatever they determine to be reasonable, not what you determine to be reasonable. You can take a witness. Your witness has to sit there and be quiet and just take notes. And your second opinion doctor will often say, no, we're not going to allow your witness in. So I suggest you take the law with you and say, here it is. It says I can. And if they don't allow it, you document it and have your witness document it as well. That I had a witness and the doctor refused to let my witness in, which was against 20 CFR 10.320, which states that the employee may have a physician or other individual present at the exam. So they have to let you bring your other individual to the exam. So the next thing I'm going to talk to you about is, why do they make you go to these things?
Yeah.
Like, what are the possible reasons that they could have to make you go? And I've got 13 reasons. There are probably more, because there's probably somebody in a room just like thinking up things they can do to get second opinion exams.
Probably true.
Are there any questions on the laws before I move forward?
Let's see. All right. I'm going to start from the first question. So pay attention. Sorry, we missed a few. Linda, Had my second opinion in December of 24. Got less than half what I got from my opinion at Federal Injury Center. Very disappointing. Been done wrong from the beginning, so should figure it. And still awaiting to see if they will even pay out that percentage.
So she's talking about a schedule award, and yeah, they'll often knock down schedule awards. It happens all the time. It
Miss
doesn't
Al
make it right, but they do it. They do attempt to do it.
Miss Alcazar. New. She's new. Hi, I'm from
Welcome.
Stowe, Massachusetts. I'm very new with all this step. Well, you came to the right
You are
place.
absolutely in the right place. There's no better place for you.
Terry, how are you? Terry from Manhattan.
Hey, Terry.
Before I retired in 2021, union guys were useless as far as knowing anything about OWCP and what hurt employees should do first if hurt. Is that what you guys are doing? Teaching these guys as to how to lead hurt employees when they or if they get injured?
Well, sure, to lead, certainly, but to, assist with getting their claim reported, filed, and accepted. Knowing all the rules and avoiding the pitfalls.
We can only train whoever is there.
Yeah, and
When
who
we
wants it?
Whenever we come to the office and we do like a mini training, it's like a 30-minute training. If you're there, you're there. We're not against you guys. We want you guys to know this so you don't have to deal with that type of question,
Yeah, we're
Terry.
not just that we're not against you.
Yeah.
We're Nobody's more for you than we are.
Yeah.
Nobody. Nobody.
Maria, how are you? Is there a way for workers' comp to understand that rural carriers are not allowed to take part of a workday for an appointment, regardless if it's work comp or not?
Well, your alternative to that is you take the full day off and get paid 8 hours of LWOP. Just keep that in mind. You're right. You're not like everyone else who can get up to 4 hours of their work shift to go to the doctor. If you take half a day, it's a whole day. So take the whole day.
Manda West, maybe I need to change doctors again for the third time.
Well, that's a personal decision, but if you do need to, I would not get stuck at a red light of denials. That's for sure.
Jill, I haven't been sent a request of MM2
Yeah.
for a doctor's opinion send in with a 1032. It's been 3 years since the request. Now I feel a little over tea of spite. I'm being asked for a second opinion. It happened 30 years ago. What would be better?
Well, I mean, it doesn't matter when it happened. Remember what the law says. You're required to go when and where they tell you to go as often as they tell you to go, even if it's 30 years. Yeah.
Roxana, good evening. It's Sharon from Orangeburg, South
Oh,
Carolina.
hey there.
Felicia Early. Hello, Chris and Jeannie
Well,
from
hello, Felicia.
YouTube. Tanya. Hello, Tanya from North Carolina. First time here. Oh,
Welcome.
welcome. Don't
Welcome.
forget, if you're new here, you have to click the follow button so you can see our notifications and when we go live.
Definitely hit the follow button.
Waliska Alcazar. This question are exactly as is happening with me. Very interesting to hear tonight.
Well, I
Oh,
hope this helps then.
yeah. Christine, I've been sent to third opinion doctor in 4 years. The first doctor said shame on DOL for not getting me the help. DOL did nothing for a year. Then one said I could do something I can't not do, lifting too much weight. What do I need to do now?
Well, if any doctor says that you can go back to work lifting some amount that you can't lift, you've got to get clarity on that. I would go back to your treating doctor and ask him to write a disability narrative or a narrative explaining why you cannot do that job, and then fill out a new CA-17 and submit that to your supervisor and your claims examiner.
Dennis Bailey. I've been on work comp for 2.5 years now due to my injury. I've started the proceedings to go on medical social security. I have been with the organization for 37 years. Can you collect social security disability while on work comp?
I'm pretty sure that falls under the dual benefits category, and you won't be able to collect both at the same time. Call Social Security and ask. They know the answer to that. But here's what happens if I'm right and you collect both at the same time. At the end of the year, they're going to send you a demand letter for the overage, and you don't want to get stuck writing a check to them at the end of the year. So just ask now. Can I get my work comp benefits and Social Security at the exact same time? Your Social Security person will be easier to get a hold of than your claims examiner.
That's true. Valerie Ann, if I resign, will my case be closed?
No, your case will remain open as long as it's medically necessary to keep it open.
Diane Cardona. Yes, my second opinion meeting took about 10 minutes. Doctor didn't even know what I was there for, just asked me a few questions and pretty much said it would be great. It would get approved once he put his notes in, which it did, thankfully.
Oh, that's good.
10 minutes, okay.
10-minute approval.
Yeah. Mamie Rogers, how are you, Mamie?
What's up?
According to OWCP, my friend must obtain a second opinion before the CA7 form can be approved. Is this a new requirement? Her doctor completed the CA20 form.
I wouldn't say it's a new requirement. I wouldn't say it's a requirement at all. It's just the claims examiner decided, we're going to get a second opinion before we start paying. I don't like it. I think you should go ahead and do all the right procedures, attach all the documentation to your CA7, and go ahead and get paid. Go ahead and submit it at least, but you still have to go to the second opinion visit.
Travis Taylor, about to go to a second opinion next week. Real bad reviews with this one, and the SOAF significantly wronged already.
Yeah, look, again, I'm going to tell you in a minute what to do when you get there. So stand by. All right. Don't leave. If you leave early, you're going to miss what to do when you go to this. I still have to give you all the reasons for the exam.
Miss Alcazar, my case, I'm a rural carrier. I got injured at work delivering. I report the injury the same day, and I just got approved for my shoulder and hip. But at the same time, they are denying my first opinion, my doctor protocol for my lumbar injury doing the epidural shot. But now I need surgery. I got one herniated disc, and my nerve is pinched with my disc. I need surgery to pull. Do I need a surgery to pull out? I'm been suffering with treatment from since February 2025.
So I can't give you any medical advice. I'm not a doctor, but you need to go back to yours and get letters of medical necessity, strong, detailed letters of medical necessity for any treatment or procedure your doctor thinks you need that they're denying. That's the only thing you can do is go again.
Corey Parker, my doctor submitted authorization for surgery, and a district review advisor with DOL reported that I don't need the surgery.
Again, we're talking about medical opinions from opposing doctors. The weight of medical evidence from either doctor is going to, win the day. So you want your doctor to have better medical evidence, meaning a better medical narrative report explaining why you need what you need.
Amanda said,
Oh, and by the way, then if there's a disagreement still and the claim examiner still doesn't know what to do, they'd send it to a referee doctor who will look at your doctors and the second opinion doctors and make a decision.
yeah. Amanda West, DOL denied an MRI 3 times. So I've been walking around on a damaged ACL, MCL, and meniscus since February 15th. DOL is also refusing to pay me for 3 weeks. My doctor put me out because supervisor caused re injury.
That's a sad, sad, sad story. One of the things that I think is underutilized is everyone listen close to this one. What I think is underutilized is contacting your representatives. Today, on the topic of second opinions, I contacted all three of mine online and told them what I thought about it and what I think they need to do. And you can just go to Google search and say, find my US representative, click on the link. It'll ask you for your address, and then it'll show you the pictures of the people that represent you and all their contact information. You click contact us, and you can essentially send an email. All emails are electronic, but you can send an email over their website. And then today I just got responses from all three of them saying we received it and we'll get back to you. And I don't know if they will or won't. But what if 100,000 of you send a message about second opinions?
Yeah, I think you should just send a quick email.
What if
So
100,000 of you send a message to your representative about the bad things that are happening to you in OWCP? I think it's way underutilized. Most people have no idea how to contact their representative, and I just told you how. So maybe consider doing that. And I'm talking to all of you. I think that would be super useful.
imagine if all 2.8 million of you just started emailing, they're going to notice something's not right and they will probably take action.
I don't recommend being abusive to your
Right.
representatives.
No.
Because you do want them to take the action you want them to take. But I think that might be something that could help.
Waliska, they sent me for a second opinion. I didn't receive my appointment yet, but I have my surgery on May 13th. What's going to happen if I got my second opinion after my surgery?
I mean, I can't imagine they can't undo the surgery, right? So I don't know what could happen. Could they close down the case? Could they deny a whole bunch of stuff in the future? Could they say, hey, that condition should never have been accepted? I guess there's a lot of negative things they can do. The positive is they can say, yeah, well, we agreed with that.
Yeah.
But either way, you got your surgery.
Terry, that was very sweet. Said you guys are very thorough as far as explaining what you do if you get injured. Okay, we will train anyone that wants to get trained. So if there's union members, stewards, I mean, heck, if it's even supervisors that wants us to come train, but it has to be more than 25 people. But we will definitely train. Jenna, what does comp deem more important? Modified limited offers or going to treatment? I'm attending work hardening 3 times a week. I start my job offer tomorrow. I have scheduled all my work hardening times as late as possible, but the times do clash.
Yeah, I can't speak for them what they value more. What I value the most is doing whatever it takes to get back to work full duty so you can clock in and get paid the full 8 hours. So what that takes, I think, is the most important thing. But also getting back to work is part, even on a limited basis, is part of, getting back to full duty as well. So I don't know that they would count either one as weighing more than the other.
Yeah.
The ultimate goal is that you can go back to work full duty and not get re-injured.
Clara Roth. Hi, Chris and Jeannie. Miss you guys.
Hey,
Well, here we are. TT. I had a second opinion who agreed with my doctor. Actually, he said it was worse than my doctor did, but on his form, he only checked sedentary, no light, heavy, or medium duty, and he left the rest of the paperwork blank. So I was offered a modified job that was sedentary. So my doctor completed a CA-17 with weight and standing restrictions, and they denied it. So now I'm not sure what to do with my second opinion, doctor wrote on the narrative. I need a cane and I need to do call center like work, but because of the form it isn't done, they aren't doing anything.
your doctor needs to fill out the form completely. I say this to supervisors all the time. The sections on the form are there to be filled out, not to be left blank. When you see a CA-17 that's incomplete, remember, this is your life. You tell the doctor to go again. Go
Yep.
fix it.
Valerian, this is my first live.
Hey,
My doctor talks about giving me some rating. He acknowledged that I have nerve damage, ankle fracture, but I don't know how he will do this. Is it by month or by tests?
it's
Or mouth or by tests?
it's an impairment rating. That's a physical exam. So that's a whole other topic. I can't get into impairment ratings tonight because that's an hour topic all by itself.
We did go over that last week.
Yeah, you
That
can
was
go
our
find
topic
the one
last
from
week.
last time.
Yeah. So go to last week's chats. It's all of our chats are on there and you can rewatch that and we talk in depth about all of that. Schedule award, MMI, and FCEs.
Okay, let's pause.
Okay.
Because we're going to get a lot of questions that aren't about second opinion.
Okay.
I have two more topics here. So the next topic on second opinions are the most common reasons for a second opinion exam. All right. So what are the reasons they might send you to a second opinion exam? I doubt this is a complete list, but it's what I came up with today doing my research. So the first one is to clarify medical opinions. And this typically happens when your doctor writes a bad narrative that is just like unclear. And so they'll just say, all right, forget it. We're going to send it to a second opinion and get a better narrative. And then they'll spend 5 minutes with you and come up with like 5 pages. How did they do that? And why couldn't your doctor do it is a better question. Number two is to verify causal relationship, which is to confirm whether the work incident actually caused or contributed to your diagnosis. And oftentimes your doctors will write a great narrative, but it's not great because they leave out causation. They can't link the injury to the job. And so that would be the second thing.
Right.
Three, to determine disability status. Now, in OWCP, disability is not like Social Security. It's like, can you go back limited duty, full duty, or off work? And so they want to assess whether you are totally or partially disabled, and so you can go back to work. That's it. They're trying to find your work capacity. Number four, to find out if you're at MMI, because they'd love for you to be at MMI so they can stop treatment.
Correct.
That's not what my notes say, but that's just the Chris version.
That is the truth, though.
Five, to assess permanent impairment, which is used in preparation for a schedule award. So that's interesting. So they may send you to a second opinion doctor to actually do the impairment rating. Six, to confirm or dispute a diagnosis. Anytime they've got a diagnosis or your doctor diagnoses something they're not sure about, they can send you to a second opinion. If you need a diagnosis expansion or you get a consequential injury, you're likely going to get a second opinion because they're trying to figure out, confirm, or dispute the diagnosis. 7, to determine the need for surgery or specific treatment. I think that that's actually to determine how we can get out of approving surgery or other treatment.
Right.
I think that's what that really does. I almost never see them say, we want to send this person to a second opinion doctor because we're not sure if more treatment's needed or not. And then the second opinion doctor says, yeah, do more treatment. That
Right.
almost never happens. But aren't I callous? 8, to evaluate recurrences or aggravations. So, anytime there's a CA2A, a notice of recurrence, there's going to be a high likelihood of you going to see a second opinion doctor because they're going to want to say or find out, is this still related to the original injury or is this something new that's not even work related? And which is kind of crappy too, because a new thing can be also work related.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind. Number 9, to confirm relatedness of a new condition. All right, so you have a new condition. Is this work related? So consequential injuries, expansions, or any just new injury that just happened today, they may want to say, is this even work related?
Yeah.
And that's only going to happen. I mean, it can happen lots of ways, but it's primarily going to happen if your existing doctor, your treating doctor, writes terrible medical narrative reports that can't explain, what's going on with your claim. Number 10, to address work capacity evaluations, which is on a form OWCP 5C. It says under here to validate or refute restrictions or accommodations listed by your treating doctor. Yeah, to validate or refute restrictions. What they're trying to do is refute restrictions. All right, bottom line, that's what they're trying to do. I can't think of ever a second opinion visit where they said, yeah, we agree with these restrictions. And if you're one of them, then hallelujah, I'm super happy for you. Number 11 would scare the heck out of me. It is for surveillance or fraud related investigations. If there is surveillance or evidence contradicting the workers' comp claim or the workers' claim, OWCP may want reevaluation. Yeah, you think? So when they think that you lied,
Yeah.
that's bottom line. People are always saying, I feel like I'm being followed around, or, you may be.
Yes.
You may be.
We've heard many stories about that.
Yeah. 12, to monitor treatment progress. Now, I love this reason, but unfortunately, I think that this reason, the monitor treatment progress, typically just leads to shutting down a case. But it says if recovery progress is slower than expected or the treatment appears ineffective, we may do a second opinion visit. So, I would say you want to do the best you can to get better using, within your doctor's orders. And that way you can avoid seeing a second opinion doctor because you're not getting better. If you're off work for a long time, if you don't seem to be improving, then that's what they're going to do. They're going to send you to a second opinion doctor who's going to recommend some other treatment.
Yep.
Or say you're at MMI and try to close your case.
Yeah.
So try to get better. Just that's what I'm saying. Try to get better. And lastly, to settle conflicting medical reports. So sometimes there's like your claim examiner doesn't know, they're not sure about medical reports between a couple of doctors. So they'll send you to a second opinion. And if they're still not sure, then they go to a referee doctor. So those are 13 reasons that you could be sent to a second opinion doctor. And to sum it up, it's essentially, if they're not sure about if your medical narrative was bad, if your diagnosis is unclear, if you're not getting better, if they're not sure they want to approve treatment, they're looking at your impairment rating or schedule award. Those are like key things that are happening here.
Yeah.
Or if you lied on your claim or they think you did,
I
which
know
I don't see people doing that. So, but anyways, it's a thing.
a lot of you are asking, what is MMI? What is schedule award? Because he just is shouting out these.
Tell them.
Last week, we covered about an hour and 15 minutes of what what a FCE is, functional capacity evaluation, what MMI is, maximum medical improvement, and what a schedule award impairment rating is. So just go back to last week's chats and it will explain it in detail.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. So far I've covered the laws related to second opinions and I've covered the reasons. All right. So I have 2 sections here that I'm going to finish up with. And section 1 is what you need to know and based on everything I've told you. And the next section is a preparation checklist.
Yeah, a lot of you ask, I'm taking these things and they're not even looking at it, but at least you have a checklist now just to take with you because you don't know if they're going to see you for 5 minutes or 5 hours.
Yeah. So I'm going to do what you need to know, and then I'm going to answer some more questions.
Okay.
And I'll finish up with a checklist at the end. All right. Number one thing you need to know, and I said this, and it's in like all the law, is you must attend your exam unless you have a good reason, like you're super sick or something. You better have a good reason. Failure to appear can result in loss of benefits until you decide to show up. So, in other words, you ain't getting paid until you do show up. Very, very important. The second thing you need to know is you are allowed to bring a witness, and this can be a spouse, a friend, an adult child, a union rep,
Yeah.
or advocate. The witness does not have to be a doctor.
There you go.
It's very, very important. It used to be thought that it had to be a doctor, which
Personally,
is ridiculous. Doctors are never going to go to this.
I would bring a steward or some union rep with me because they're going to have my back.
Yeah, I love bringing stewards.
Yeah.
Um, Next, witnesses may not interfere with the exam, but can take written notes and document the interaction. Recording is not allowed. So don't have you or your witness bring your phone in and start recording.
Yeah. Don't do
That is considered disruption. The doctor can stop the visit, reschedule it, and during the time of between then and rescheduling, they can cut off your benefits.
Yeah. So don't do that.
Very, very important. So no recording, but you can take all the written notes you want. Next, your witness can help protect you. Everyone listen up. Your witness can help protect you by observing your doctor's behavior, by timing the visit. In other words, we clocked in or we got in at 12:05 and got out at 12:15, and taking notes if anything inappropriate or rushed occurs, or just any detailed notes, right?
Yeah.
Anything. So your witness is there to take notes on what they observe. It's not the opinion of what they observe, it's what they observe.
Yeah.
We went in at 12:05, we left at 12:10. The doctor never looked up, never touched my friend or the person I'm representing. And these are the questions that were asked. Whatever, right? You can take all those detailed notes.
Yep.
This is the next thing you need to know. This is for you. Take notes immediately after your exam. I say this all the time. As soon as your exam is done, you go out, like while you're in a car, be ready to take your own notes of everything that you saw happen in the exam, that you remembered that happened in the exam, just like your friend that's a witness is doing. Who the doctor was, what they asked you, how long it lasted, and how you were treated. Very, very key. Next, you can ask OWCP for a copy of the second opinion report. So don't forget that this is part of your medical record. So you can actually just go into eComp, and once it's there, you can just download it. But you do have a right to get that report. Next, if the second opinion report contradicts your treating doctor's report, you have the right to request a referee exam. And I would not want that. I would want my doctor to write a way stronger exam instead. But you don't have to just accept the second opinion. You can ask for the referee. Referee doctors are generally board certified, which is super interesting. I was reading this in the rules. The way they find a referee doctor is they go to websites of board certified specialists. If you need an ortho, they'll find a board certified ortho. So that's pretty cool. But second opinion doctors do not have to be board certified, but they do have to be in the specialty that we're talking about. Like if you have an eye problem, they can't send you to a knee doctor.
Right.
The guy sends you to an optometrist.
I mean, I don't know.
Or ophthalmologist or whatever, right? And the last thing you need to know is you do not have to answer personal questions unrelated to your injury or job duties. You're not there to talk about, your personal life and, your family, social life. You're not there to talk about the flu you had last year.
Or your regular primary care visits.
Yeah, you're there to talk about what's going on with your work injury.
Yeah.
So that's really key. All right, so that's what you need to know. I'm going to finish up with your preparation checklist. But in the meantime, and for the next, say, 10 minutes, I'll answer your questions. We'll run a little long.
Yeah.
All right. So for the next 10 minutes, I'm going to answer questions and then I'll finish it up.
All right. Francis Rodriguez. My second opinion recommended vocational rehab. I did it, and now I work for the hospital. Do OWCP, would they pay the difference for the rest of my career?
So you need to check on that because there is a pay differential thing. Look at the CA7. And if you are moved to another job for your career, I'm gonna have to get back to you on that. But I think It's on page 2. There's something in there that's a pay differential question. So go look at your claim for compensation. There's a question in there that deals with this in particular.
Victor wants you to call him after the live.
Okay.
Mary, hello, people with lots of love to share. Good evening.
Hi.
Hey, Mary. Terry. I know you guys are there for the hurt employees, but if anyone needs to know how to lead hurt employees down the right path, it's the union reps. They seem to know nothing about OWCP. Why?
Well, okay.
You have
So
to remember, well, I mean, like in your handbooks, it's like itty bitty about OWCP. That's the least of their concern to learn. Honestly,
well,
we
I don't know
hear
if
that
it's
all
the
the.
least of their concern, but
This is
they're
what they say.
yeah, they have a lot more to learn than just OWCP.
Yeah.
I only have to know one thing. It's this. I think that's the main thing is if I were a steward in a union, I'd have to learn all kinds of things that I don't have to learn as just the OWCP guy.
We've trained stewards, we've trained union presidents, we've trained claims examiners from
And
DOL.
yeah, and
So
after
we've
we train
trained
them,
everybody.
they're powerhouses after we train them.
After, I mean, the only people we have not trained are supervisors, which I'm sure they wouldn't want our training.
They won't like it.
Angela Evans, good evening. Can you explain when you are told you have to have transition from receiving workers' comp disability?
Can you explain when you're told you have to transition from receiving workers' comp disability? I'm not sure what you mean by that. There's because disability and workers' comp payments are two different things. So I'm a little confused by that. If you wouldn't mind just clarifying your question.
Maria, OWCP is saying that there are only paying 4-hour appointments was way after start time. Due by the time appointment was done, more than half the workday is done.
That's right.
Bonnie, I've been approved since 2022, went to a second opinion doctor in 2023. He agreed with the doctor. I'm permanent and can work with restrictions. I'm now going to see a second opinion doctor again in June. Reason is not enough evidence to establish a claim. I've had to correct myself
Statement
as
of accepted
dates and
facts.
facts were wrong.
Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. Your doctor's got to write a freaking great narrative. And when they don't write a freaking great narrative, you're going to end up in a second opinion visit. And sometimes even when they write a fantastic narrative, but for sure when they don't, that's what's coming.
Yeah, Amanda, a nurse practitioner cannot be the only one that signs off on your paperwork. It has to be the MD that reviews it. First reason was nurse practitioner signed. Second reason for denial, it was countersigned, but a qualifying physician. That's odd. Third reason was they wanted to know why I suddenly declined in care when they've been told many times why.
Yeah, it's
Amanda Welch, thank you for doing this topic. I'm dealing with this now. 7 months post op rotator cuff repair. Second opinion doctor spent 4 minutes with me. Oh, wow, it's getting shorter. Reported that I'm able to return to full duty as a rural carrier, but also noted that my most recent MRI showed labrum tears along with other tears. Had to retain an attorney because post office tried to force me to return to work before my ortho had time to respond to my second opinion. Yuck.
that's that's the stuff that's happening. And by the way, that's somebody that should contact their congressperson.
Lori
Tell that
Fish
story.
Lori Fisher. Hi, Chris and Jeannie. It's Lori from Alaska.
Alaska.
Hi, Lori.
Amazing.
I definitely want to visit Alaska.
What
I keep
time
saying,
is it in Alaska right now?
yeah, I know there's a time difference.
Well,
I don't
yeah.
know.
Anyways, I'm dying to know.
I'm still fighting the good fight after 2 years about getting conditions upgraded. I have another second opinion coming up in May. I was medically separated from the FAA in February this year with separation letter stating my injuries appear related due to my on the job inquiries. I have not been paid a wage loss. I got another medical exam for all the conditions and submitted more medical opinions. Feels like I will never get through this fire. It's I too am considering writing my senator in Alaska about the issues combat veteran being treated worse than an illegal immigrant. Terrifying what's happening to us federal employees. Me now, a former federal employee, I am also waiting on getting on federal disability retirement approved. Wish me luck.
Well,
Well,
good
good
luck for
luck.
sure. Yeah, that's a lot. You got a lot going on. And thanks for watching us from Alaska. Tell your friends.
Amanda, thank you guys. You've given a lot of answers that will definitely continue watching your lives to help my fellow carriers as well.
Don't forget, I got a
Awesome.
preparation checklist coming up at the end, so just hang in there for a few more minutes.
Corey, lost the feed. I'm hoping you could answer my dilemma. Go ahead and retype it.
Yeah, just retype
Yeah.
it. We'll answer it.
TT. My doctor did complete my CA-17 fully, but the second opinion doctor left the blank. So how do I get a hold of them again to complete it?
Don't. That's not your responsibility. Instead, just contact your claims examiner and say, "What the heck am I supposed to do here? You sent me to this doctor. This doctor didn't do the right job. So here's a new CA-17 for my treating doctor."
Maria, you would be surprised at the surveillance that are done. It's funny because we've heard lots of union presidents actually have told us this. We know some of you get followed.
Yeah. You
Julie,
get followed by supervisors sometimes
yeah,
too,
that's
which is
true.
way outside of their scope.
Julie Woods, what to do if the second opinion doctor tries to say my shoulder didn't get hurt at the beginning when it actually did?
Your treating doctor's got to have a better report with better explanation than the treating doctor. It's the weight of evidence between the two doctors that's going to win the day.
Marianne Prater, how are you?
Hey, welcome back.
She said, "Dang, I just jumped on. I really wanted to be here from the beginning." You can always rewatch the live. No worries.
Yeah, just hit replay.
I just had my third second opinion. The second opinion doctor said I would need surgery to his opinion. I do have 3 cases still open, so I have retired. I was approved through Social Security Disability and OPM. I am now getting ready to start my schedule award on my cases. I know it's a wild question. What do you think?
I don't know that I heard the question.
She said,
I really want to be here. I just had my third second opinion. Second opinion doctor said I
so
would
I've
need surgery.
retired.
I do have 3 cases still open, so I've retired. I was approved. I'm now getting ready to start schedule awards on my case. I know it's a wild question. What do you think? I'm not sure what the question is, but I'm seeing all this stuff. I mean, you did 3 second opinions. You've had, you need surgery, and you just went way past, so I can't keep reading it. But hey, Marianne, actually look at your statement again and tell me what the question was. I'm happy to answer it.
Corey Parker said, I took a union rep.
Excellent.
That's great.
Yep.
The pay must match your previous pay.
Yep.
Tanya, I go to my surgeon appointment on Friday for the first time. If I need surgery, do I wait for OWCP to approve it?
Yeah, so that's the way it works. The doctors have to get pre-authorization, and once it's approved by the claims examiner, then you can do surgery whenever the doctor can schedule it.
Thanks to Wednesday night OWCP chats with Chris and Gini for the training they've done to all Florida APW members during our seminar and conferences.
Well, thanks, Victor.
And we can't wait to see you guys next week.
I'll call you in a few minutes, buddy.
Terry said, so the doctors that work in the federal injury centers know how to write a good narrative. Well, thanks.
It's a question. And yes, it's our specialty. We have extensive, crazy detailed training on how to write a good narrative.
Corey Parker, you guys are awesome and very helpful.
Thanks.
Melv V14, I had a fit for duty lasted 2 minutes. Oh, that's the
new
winner
record
tonight.
2 minutes.
2 minutes. Wow, this is getting embarrassing with these doctors. I could never be a doctor and walk in and be like, hi, how are you? That's 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Roxanne, so if your treating physician gives you restrictions and the second opinion says no restrictions, you return to work and you have then re-injure, then what?
Well, if you get re-injured at work, you got to determine, is it a new injury or is it a aggravation of the old injury? Is it a new CA1, a new CA2, or a new CA2A? Getting re-injured, that's a horrible outcome when all they needed to do was just listen to your treating doctor in the first place.
This is cute. Chris Topher. Can you file for federal retirement disability after you get separated from the VA? Eunice said yes.
Hold on. Yeah, I mean, I don't see why not. You know what helps me here is he said, can you?
Right.
Yeah, you can.
You can.
They may not approve it, but yes, you can. There's no rule against that.
Nikki, I've had a case number since December 2021, surgery in 2023, told by 2 doctors that I'm at MMI, and so the doctor requested an impairment rating. DRAC in process because I have permanent restrictions. Do I wait to hear from someone about the impairment rating, or do I be proactive and find an approved doctor?
Well, okay, don't scroll past that. I'm an MMI And so doctor requested the impairment rating. Yeah, I mean, I would go find a doctor who can do it. I don't have any patience for waiting, and I wouldn't suggest that you do it either.
Sonia. I couldn't get away. I got a new claimer. Did speak with a supervisor. Chris, she issues a missed benefit payment and I only have 2 second opinion appointments, not 4. Keep fighting.
There you go.
Marianne, sorry about that. The second opinion doctor said I needed surgery because my left side, which is my shoulder, is my hands, all that is not getting better at all. Whoops, wait. My neck is all so bad. I'm getting ready to
Okay.
start a schedule award in July. Do I need to get surgery going forward?
Do I need surgery first or do I need to start the schedule award? I think, okay, that's another medical determination. But the key to MMI is, would surgery make you better? If you would be better, then how can you be at maximum medical improvement now if surgery tomorrow could make you be better than you are today?
Yeah.
That's a medical decision. So I can't answer that. I think you need to go back to your doctor and ask that question of the doctor.
This is a good question, Julie. Am I able to get a second opinion doctor myself? I
No.
originally wanted to go to federal injury centers, but wasn't open at the time. Could I go to one now and get a second opinion?
Okay, you can go to a federal injury center's doctor anytime you want, but not for a second opinion like what we're talking about. In what we're talking about, second opinions are only chosen by the claims examiner. It doesn't mean you can't go get your own second opinion, but it doesn't have the same weight as the second opinion that we're talking about here.
Yeah. Clemmy Adger. I'm going to retire this June because if when I'm not working, I feel better. My pain is much less.
Retirement. I hope to be there one day.
Marianne, second opinion doctor said I need surgery. To his opinion, I think I do because my left side, whole side, isn't getting any better. It's getting worse, yet I had to retire. Do I start a schedule award or do I do surgery first?
Again, that's a medical decision. I can't tell you what to do there, Marianne. I'm really sorry. That wouldn't be right.
The heck is that?
You clicked on something, so now it's just showing up there.
Okay. Sonia, if you get re-injured as related to the same ICD-9 codes that were approved from the original claim, get you a lawyer, and this is coming from a steward.
Okay.
And then Clemmy Adger said, one doctor said surgery will not do any good.
Just click right here and click.
There we go.
There we go. All right. Okay, so we got to the end of the questions, and you guys were really interactive tonight. I appreciate that so much, and I hope this is helpful. I'm going to give you this final section as a CCOP, which is the short for second opinion, preparation checklist. Some of this is a little silly, but leave no stone unturned. Number 1, confirm the appointment date, time, and location, because if you miss the appointment, they'll cut off your benefits.
Yep.
2, bring a witness, friend, spouse, advocate, or union rep. You can bring a child as long as it's an adult-aged child. It does not have to be a doctor. Number 3, brief your witness. They can take notes but cannot speak or record during the exam. Make sure they understand that. 4, bring a copy of your medical history and imaging. Okay, let me tell you why you do that. Because your doctor the second opinion doctor very likely doesn't have your complete medical record. So give them at least your medical narrative, your imaging, your CA-17, your CA-20. Take some key things for them to actually look at. Next, review your CA1 or CA2 and know your original injury description. It may have been a while, so don't forget, how did you get hurt? Make sure that you're consistent with what you wrote on the forms. Be honest and consistent with symptoms and limitations. Yeah, that's really going to be key. So a lot of people go in and think, well, I need to exaggerate to really make this doctor understand what's wrong with me. I can assure you it won't help. So just be as truthful as possible. For you, take detailed notes immediately after the exam. As soon as you get in the car, start taking notes. Have a pen and a pad of paper ready to go. Next, follow up with your treating doctor and document any medical concerns. All right, so just get back with your treating doctor and let them know, hey, here's what happened. You may have to write a medical narrative report to refute whatever this second opinion doctor says. Request a copy of the second opinion report from OWCP. That's if it's not in the file, so you can just look for it. But sometimes it takes a while, and if you're not seeing it, then ask your claim examiner for it. And lastly, work with your doctor to submit a rebuttal if the second opinion report is misleading or incomplete. These are very serious exams, okay? Like your work life, your work injury situation hinges on what happens in these things. So take them very seriously, show up to them, take great notes, take a witness who takes great notes and who is not disruptive, and then get back to your doctor, tell them what happened, and write up your own little paragraph or page or your own little mini narrative of what happened, incorporating what your witness said, and also give that to your doctor.
Yeah. Somebody talked about oh my gosh, Victor said you can even bring your dog as a witness. That's funny. Like he said, be your and be your own advocate. Get all your paperwork together before you go to your second opinion. Try to get it if you possibly can. Sometimes you're like in a week you have to go to a second opinion, but try to, you know, keep all your records from all your doctor's appointment, make copies and take them with you because like somebody said they didn't have your paperwork. Well, at least you have it.
Yep.
Christopher. I had spinal cord compression that is causing neck pain and second rotator cuff tear with proximal infraspinatus bicep tendon tear that's causing trip arm weakness. Can I refuse surgery and just apply for retirement disability? We all know cervical spine surgeries just will mess it up.
You can refuse any treatment or procedure. It is your right to refuse it.
Diane Cardona. That's true. My second opinion didn't have my records. I took everything I had with me.
Excellent. That's smart thinking.
Eunice, you should get surgery and still file your disability. Julie Wood, things are at a standstill right now for me. I can't even use my own insurance to go to my doctor.
It's a terrible thing.
Corey Parker, make a file and keep everything in that file. It comes in handy. Yeah, that's what we're saying. Always, always, all your OWCP stuff, you shouldn't toss out in the garbage. Make a folder.
Yeah, I agree.
We've seen
Keep
some
up with it.
people in the past with folders and folders and folders of
Boxes
years. Oh yeah,
of
the
folders.
box. Yeah.
Boxes of folders.
Yes. So
I had a
keep
flash
it.
drive once
Oh,
with
yeah.
1,100 pages in it.
And he read all
I
1100.
read all 1,100 because I'm all in.
Yeah, because he read all 1100. He found the issue and then got the
Claim
patient's claim accepted.
Yep. And that's what we do at Federal Injury Centers. Everybody here reads all 1,100 pages, whatever it takes.
Manda West, how would they notify us for a second opinion? My head PT thinks OWCP is pushing for it if they are denying everything.
You're going to get a letter in writing.
Like Victor said, it's like going to court. You need to bring any and all evidences, including statements. More statements and more evidence will help your case.
Exactly right.
On point. Anybody else have any more questions on second opinions? All right. This paper here that we have, it'll be on a PDF probably later tonight or tomorrow morning. Go back, take a look at it, print it out, keep it for yourself. And then again, those of you that are asking about MMI, FCEs, and schedule awards, last week's chats, we talked about that in detail. So I'll go back and watch last week's chat.
And for next week, don't forget to invite a friend. Your friends need the same help you do. They just don't know that we're here. And so we rely on you to let people know, spread the word.
Yeah, Lori Fisher said, make sure you download each month from your ecomp portal so you have all records. I've had some papers disappear on file.
That's a smart tip.
And last thing, Victor says, as he always says, one more thing, don't give up and fight for your rights.
That's right.
Does a second opinion happen often if you need surgery?
Yeah, it happens all the time when you need surgery.
Alicia, you're welcome. We do this every Wednesday at 8 p.m.
Hope we'll see you next week.
So the USPS said the second opinion rules over FIC.
Overrules the FIC.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe. I mean, it's not about FIC. A second opinion doctor can have evidence that outweighs a treating doctor, even a Federal Injury Center's doctor. It can happen. I mean, all right, but I appreciate USPS making it personal.
Yeah. All right. So next Wednesday, we are going to be in Fort Myers for the spring booster for Florida APWU. We will not be training. However, we will be going live with union presidents. If there's any, well, we know like three of them. Victor will be on there, maybe Rob and Ian. They love coming on there. We're going to have them talk about what's going on in their craft with all of this federal stuff, and how, if you have any questions and concerns, what answers they're giving out to their folks.
All right. Well, we will see you next week.
Next week. And then on May 14th, we will not be on because we will be in DC with the federal police officers and whatnot. And that whole week is going to be busy. So we'll be on next week, the 7th, and then we'll return back on the 21st. If there is any topics just like this one that you guys want us to educate and train about, please comment below and we will do those topics for you. All right, everybody. Frank, good evening and good night. We will see you guys next Wednesday in Fort Myers with APW Florida.
All right. Thanks a lot, folks. We'll see you next time.
Have a good night.
Bye.